mixed messages out there about dreams that it's important to bring to light some of the most important or key aspects of a dream that should not be ignored. The first and probably one of the most important things is familiar faces. Could be faces of your friends, faces of your family, and it's even more important when you realize that the faces are not constant or stable. Or for example, somebody's face this time looks like that cousin of mine, and the next time it looks like a pastor of mine. That instability is usually a sign of a spirit that is creating perception, trying to change your perception in that dream, which brings me to the introduction. If you've ever seen a hypnosis session or a session of hypnosis where a person is putting people into a hypnotic kind of zone, the most important aspect that you will note about it is the aspect of make-believe, or in that state of unconscious or semi-consciousness, the person who is inducing the hypnosis will tell the victim or the subject exactly what they want them to see, sometimes exactly what they want them to believe, what they want them to do, and it's the same concept that comes that is applied with. To understand this better, it's important to realize that we live in a realm that is not just made up of physical dwellers, which is you and me. There's another level of physical that is inanimate, which is another whole topic in itself. So, if you read the book of Enoch, it gives a description of some of the beings that can be found upon the earth, and B is intentional in that sentence. Particularly, he talks about what he calls the watchers, he talks about what he calls the angels, he talks about what he calls the evil spirits. And I've just laid out principalities of the earth. So back to our current setup, there are various spiritual principalities and spiritual rulers that affect our lives. Some of them are even part of our day-to-day lives, because first of all, we're not the first humans to live in the areas that we've lived. So you'll find that the estates where we live have principalities that come from generations that were previous, and that is why you could be living in a place of a certain kind of people, but in your dreams you keep seeing people of a different race or a different language or a different kind of look. So, and that is one aspect of interpretation of a dream, is to first of all, when they don't come in their masquerades, they will be wearing the form from which their origin is derived. For example, if they originate from a generation which looked a certain way, some of them even come in the form of what is it called? In the form of prehistoric humans. So when you encounter such things, it just means simply that the message or the circumstances that pertained during that dream were either caused by that principality that you are seeing there, or that principality is trying to alert you to a certain set of circumstances that is persisting in your life at that time. For example, there's a time I just yearned to look further into my history, and this is when I came to realize that these are all aspects of some of them are aspects of the past, some of them are aspects of previous ages. And certainly it is not true that the previous ages do not have an effect on the current age. It is not true. For example, in the book of Enoch, he says to the watchers, and watchers were the mixed breeds that came out of the mixture between men and the descendant angels. So this is what he said, because these people ended up being evil. Although when you read places like Genesis 6, places like the Epic of Gilgamesh, who says himself that he was a quarter man, a quarter of a god, meaning a descendant of the angel, and 3/4 of men, or maybe the other way around. So basically, he's one of these descendants, and he is famed for establishing kingdoms, establishing cities, and his fame surpassed time, so to say, to the extent that there's actually a recent archaeological dig which claims to have recovered his remains, but that's a story for another day, because it gets a little creepy after that. So most times, all of these spirits, including spirits of principalities of cities and principalities of villages, principalities of nations, principalities of there are principalities of even continents, principalities of everything that you can think of. And according to ancient scripts, they're actually principalities who are bound on earth, and there's principalities who are bound in the air. I'm guessing it depends on where their age was lived, or where their age was terminated, as we see with the spirits of the watchers that were upon the earth, who, according to Enoch, was said to have become evil spirits. So when you're dealing with evil spirits, you're dealing with spirits of generations of men that actually lived on earth. And the reason why they seem to have power that can manipulate men is simply because they lived. So they lived in an age that was more accessible to the supernatural. This is the age of Moses and the gang, the age of Enoch and being caught up in the heavens, the age of the prophets. So if you haven't noticed, since about the time of the death of Christ, a lot changed upon the earth, to that it seems like the heavens got shut off. The breakthrough that existed or persisted before that time has changed. And this age that we're currently in after the death of Christ is the same age that ushered us into the Dark Ages, which started at around 400, historically speaking. But I think it started with maybe the going of Israel into captivity, or the death of Christ. However, did you know that there's a time in the 6th century, about there, at the height of the Dark Ages, maybe that's why they're called Dark Ages, when the sun just went dark, the sun disappeared for 2 years. So that's the age. So now back to the dreams. Now, if you see in your dream your family, and they're especially, okay, your immediate family, especially, that is your mother, your father, your brothers, your sisters, basically anybody who is related by blood to you. These are part of they're part of the spirits that accompanied you into the earth. Okay, now we are all here for different purposes, and each of us is equipped with a spiritual team, and also part of this team sometimes could be infiltrated by people who are also here to destroy or to stop your dream. But mostly, when you see the people that you're related, especially the elders in your dream, it's usually a personification of one or two of your guardian angels, taking the form of somebody you know, especially somebody, if for example they take the form of your mother, and in the dream, for example, somebody had given you food, you may find that your mother comes with and makes you leave that scene, or calls you, or talks to you until that sin dissipates. So these are things that our guardian angels do when we're in that state of hypnosis, aka dream world. So I call it hypnosis because dreams are hypnotic in nature. Spirits can hypnotize people into dreaming, and so can people, just like people can do it in the streets by the power of sometimes even witchcraft. People can convert that state of sleep into a narrative that is tailored to either lead to retrogression, lead to something, or reprogram the spirits of men through the dream. For example, and this you will find happens a lot, several times, especially when that veil is pierced in the times of darkness. You'll find that you're eating a lot in your dreams. Now, sometimes you may dream that you're being served something and it looks like a ceremony, and that ceremony takes on a repetitive form. Now remember, this is happening in your mind, totally in your mind. But your mind is programmed to make you believe whatever is happening in that world is real. So this is the kind of programming that I'm calling as hypnosis. Now, this state can be used by an evil spirit to put ideas in the head that reprogram a person, or make a person change their basically make a person change their reality, or create even bondage within a person's life by creating that idea of a bondage in their mind. Bondage is going to be represented by this. So in the dream, you may see yourself inside a house, but not just any house, not your house. Maybe a smaller shanty, depleted, dark, worn out, maybe a mud hut in the middle of nowhere. Yet you can't get out of that hut. Now this is all happening in your mind. Your mind is being programmed to see this. And this is a sure sign of bondage. First of all, whenever you see yourself either in a place where you want to live but you can't live, it's a sign of bondage. Whether that place is, if it's a house, take note of what your mind is telling you, because sometimes when these dreams are persisting, our mind usually has an understanding. Your mind can even tell you this is concerning so and so, or concerning such a place or such kind. It will tell you the source of the bondage, but you have to be alert so that you can note it down, because as soon as the next thought drives through your mind, you may find that you will not remember. And this is important revelation that should be very effective in helping you break free of bondage. Many times when the bondage is brought about by a soul tie, because there's sometimes people attach or get attached to people spiritually, and this attachment becomes strengthened into a bond. It's like a possession, only it's two spirits that are stuck together like a powerful magnet. That is the power of that's exactly how bondage looks like in the spiritual realm. It's like two very powerful magnets that are stuck together, and the only way that they can be broken is an interruption of the flow of electricity that is keeping them together, because magnet and electricity is one and the same thing. So, and breaking free of these bonds that are magnetic is by, you can break free by your mind, because they're created by your mind. Remember, I've told you that they're created by a hypnotic manipulation of your mind, so that they can be broken by the same way. Remember the key spiritual principles that what you plant is what you harvest. The sword that you lift is the sword that destroys you. So make a habit of reverting just the same power, just the same way they came. As simple as they come, with the same simplicity, can these things also be reversed? And also it's important, take note of the kind of effort that you see that is put in this hypnotic sessions of the mind. You'll find that a scene can be repeated over and over and over again. And a person who is within a dream, sometimes you may feel that you've been there for more than a day, for several weeks. There are dreams that you may come out feeling that you've been in them for even years. That is because a lot of effort is put in by the manipulators. And who are the manipulators? The rulers of this world. So it's important also that when you're praying, also remember to put in the effort. For example, when you're concentrating on a bondage that is so tough, and the strength of this magnetic bond is going to be, it can be destroyed also by the power of the mind, but you also have to put also effort and concentration and picture that bond destroyed with as much effort and concentration as the enemy created it. That means that you may work on a specific bondage for days, and the best way of telling, you can't really say that this one will last hours, this one will last days. The best way of telling whether your prayers are successful is by intuition, so that you will feel a release, but you don't need to pray over something anymore, but it's been done. And if it's not done, you'll feel the urge, and you will have promptings, and you will have supernatural increase of words that you need to say. You will have revelation. You may still continue to encounter teachings on what you must do, because your guardian angels are helping you around, or are helping you in you getting free. So the presence of these bondages will always, or many times, will be brought to your attention by the guardian spirits that are working in your life. For example, you may keep dreaming being in various houses, or you may find, okay, for example, if let's say your first primary school, you keep dreaming that you're in a place where you were when you were 6 years old, or you keep dreaming that you're you're in a school specifically, or in a house where you lived when you were 10 years old, or in a campus where you lived when you were 20. So this could mean that your spirit, portions of your spirit,